So you got your first AR and you're looking to see what optic to put on it. And you have a question, what's the difference between a red dot, a reflex, and a holographic sight? Well, stick around and we'll let you know. What's going on, Ghost Squad? Trey here with Ghost Tactical, and today we're going to go over the differences between a red dot, a reflex sight, and a holographic sight. Now, before you guys start screaming at the screen and putting comments out there, I understand that red dots are reflex sights, but we're going to go into that a little bit more and discuss what we're going to call the terminology. Now, as some of you guys know out there, all red dots are actual reflex sights, but not all reflex sights are red dots. The term red dot is now kind of loosely used to describe what you see here. It is a tube dot system that eludes an LED dot right in the middle. This is when you hear the term red dot, this is typically what they're talking about. And basically what this is these are, like I said, they're tubes that use LED and mirrors to project a dot onto your reticle, into your glass, to where you have a nice aiming sight. And people call them red dots because it is a simple red, sometimes green, but mostly red dots. It is wonderful for targeting, for acquisition your target. They are cheap. You can get these for as low as like 50 bucks. And the battery lives on most red dots are sometimes like 50,000 hours. So the LED is very much efficient with battery life, and they are pretty good with the sight system. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you a little bit of what the reticle looks like. Okay, so as you see here, when you say a red dot, this is truly what it means. It is a red dot. You're going to be able to acquire your target here and just get this kind of in the center of your target once you get it zeroed, and it's going to be relatively effective. And it's going to be a single magnification, so it's not going to be able, without a magnifier, it's not going to be magnified. It's just going to be, it is what it is. Now, one of the problems that some people have with the tube red dot is field of view. Now, obviously, your eye relief is unlimited with the red dot, but the field of view is what you see out of the reticle and out of the glass itself, but it's going to be minimalized because of the tube. So this is one of the drawbacks of a tube red dot. Now, what we're going to talk about next is an actual true reflex sight. Now, what we talked about earlier about red dots being reflex, the reason why is a reflex sight is any sight that uses an LED projected onto the glass, and you're going to be able to use that reticle on the glass. So it is an LED emitted diode reticle and sight. But this is going to be what most people refer to as a reflex sight. And this is a sight mark. You can get this for about 80 bucks. And some great reflex sights out there. Holosun makes great ones. Vortex makes some great ones. All of them make good ones. You can find them for anywhere from about like 80 bucks up to about 300. And depending on what you like and what you're going for, they're going to be able to do a lot of different things. I really like a reflex sight on most of my guns. And the reason why is, we'll see here in a second, is it has different types of reticles and the field of view is much larger. So let's kind of take a look at this sight. Okay, so once again, we're talking about the reflex sight, and what you can see now is, not being a tube, you have a much more open field of view here. So you're going to be able to see more through the glass, and the reticle is going to give you a lot more vision, especially in close quarter situation. It's going to give you a little bit more field of view that the tube's going to give you. Now, once again, just like the tube though, it is an unlimited eye relief, to where you can put this as far up on the rail as you want. As you can see, I'm getting away from it, and as close as you want to get to it, and it's going to be fine. But the field of view is much larger with this kind of an optic, and what I like about it, like I said before, is it's going to give you different reticle types to choose from. So let me show you the differences. So this reticle is my favorite. This is what I run on all of my reflex sights. This is what they call a circle dot. It's got the 1 MOA dot with the ring around it, which is kind of cool. If you play video games, you play Call of Duty, this is one of the big, reticles that they use on that. But this is a great reticle that I like. It's pleasing to my eye. So the next one is what I call the cross reticle. It looks like the crosshairs right there in the middle. Some people like the crosshairs, and it's a good one. But like I said, my favorite is a circle dot, but this is another option that comes on this side as well. Now, if you do like the red dot, and you're looking for a red dot that gives a larger field of view like this one does, now we're talking, you have the option of just having a simple old red dot on this sight. And this one is seemingly a popular one as well. It's a circle dot with crosshairs extending from outside the circle. So I don't know if you can see it right here. We'll try to zoom in it here, but this is a popular one. But once again, my favorite comes down to the circle dot. I really do like this reticle. For me, it just does everything I need it to do. So as you can see, you do have the option of running a red dot inside this sight, but the reflex sight's going to give you a bigger field of view, and more importantly, it's going to give you different reticle options. That's why I like this one better between reflex and just a typical tube red dot. It gives you a lot more options. The field of view is better, especially for CQB, and if you're trying to clear a room or something like that, the field of view is going to be bigger through that lens, and like I said, it gives you a lot more reticle options, so that's why I like the reflex a bit better. The third option we're going to talk about is the holographic sight. Now this is from EOTech. This is an EOTech 512. This is the only one that I own of these, but I use it for my battle rifle. This is going to be the rifle that if something goes down, the red dawn, the shit hits the fan scenario goes down, this is going to be the rifle that I'm going to use and the optic that I'm going to use. Now, once again, most of the optics that I have are red dots or reflex, and I really love the reflex. But when the shit hits the fan, I'm going to go with a holographic, and here's why. The difference between a red dot and a holographic is that the red dot slash reflex is going to use an LED. This is going to use a laser that's not going to be reflected back into your eye off of the glass. It's going to be projected on top of your target. So what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to focus in a lot more in on the target and the reticle. Most importantly, what I love about this, and I'm not going to show you live, I'll show you pictures of other examples, but if you happen to break this front glass, whether you are in a crazy scenario or whatever, if this front glass gets broken, you can still see the holographic reticle and be able to use that sight and go with it. On a red dot or a reflex, that glass gets broken, it's worthless. Can't use it, it's might as well just use it as a paperweight. With a holographic, that projected reticle is going to stay there even if that front glass is broken. Let's kind of take a look at the reticle here. Okay, so here is the holographic sight. Now, I've got this set up with my A2 front post as an absolute co-witness, and you can put a riser on this and kind of get to a lower third co-witness, but I use it as an absolute co-witness. And like I said, what this is going to do is as you get farther away from it, that reticle is going to get bigger. As you get closer, it's going to get smaller. Like I said, what I like about it is that front glass goes away, then you can still utilize this reticle even under those situations. So let's talk about the downfall of the holographic sight. The basic downfall of a holographic sight is it uses a lot more battery power than an LED. The problem with the holographic is you're probably going to get maybe 1,000 hours with it. That being said, the reticle is phenomenal. I enjoy it, and I think that it is for a combat situation, a battle rifle situation, it's the best sight to go with because, like I said, if that glass gets broken, you can still utilize a sight. So like I said, whether you use, a red dot, a reflex sight, or a holographic sight, you can't go wrong either way. It just depends on what you're looking for. Now, there is a fourth type of sight that is out there. It's called a prism sight. Now, I personally don't have any experience with it, nor have I ever shot one. The reticle is going to be etched on the glass, so if your battery runs out, at least you'll be able to see the reticle kind of etched in that glass. Could be useful or not. I think what most people like them is if you have an astigmatism with your eyes. People say that the prism is the only optic that they can really get focused and see clearly. I've never used one. I have nothing to say about them. I've heard they're good, but for the same price as a holographic, I don't have an astigmatism, so I'm gonna go with holographic. Like I said, whether you're looking for something cheap for $50 all the way up to $600 with a holographic or prism, there are gonna be optic options out there that are not going to break the bank, and they're going to give you exactly what you're looking for, whether it's a tube, red dot, a reflex, or a holographic. So guys, I hope this has helped a little bit explaining the difference between the tube, red dot, the reflex, and a holographic. Like I said, you can't really go wrong with any of them. I enjoy all three of them. A lot of mine have red dots. I really love the reflex for everyday use, but for that battle red dawn, I'm gonna go with the holographic. I have all three, I use all three, I love all three. It really depends on what you're gonna do. So guys, I really hope this helps. Let me know in the comments what kind of sight that you like to run, whether it's a tube red dot, an open view reflex, or a holographic. We'll see you soon. See you at the range. Semper Fi.